Hi, welcome back to Therapy Designs. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kelly, and this channel is all about teaching you how to create print-on-demand designs that sell. And be sure to stay tuned till the end of the video because I have another 5 bonus niches for you. So in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing another one of your guys' shops. This one is LLR Designs. This one is based in the United Kingdom. So this is another kind of different thing. So I'm based in the US, and my specialty is obviously in the US shops. So I'm not entirely sure how things are going to differ in the UK. So with that in mind, taking a look at this shop, one thing I would recommend looking at the banner is to improve the mock-ups here that you've used for your banner. So I can scroll down and see that you've got some different mock-ups here. You've got people wearing the shirts and whatnot. But these mock-ups here, these flat ones, are not great, and it's a little hard to read. It looks like you need a little bit higher resolution, maybe some more pixels for these images, so that it really pops, because right now the shirts here are kind of not looking the best. So that's one thing I would do right off the bat, would be to just go ahead and change the mockups that you use on your banner itself. Now I can see that we've got, branding, you've got your logo here, you've picked your branding colors, that's all fine. You've been on Etsy for 8 months now. You've made 17 sales. You've only got 1 review, but it's a 5-star, so good for you. Scrolling down, you've got 331 listings. So that's a good amount of listings. And so you don't necessarily need to have a ton more than that. I can see most of them are t-shirts, and so that's kind of what we're going with that. And as I scroll down, the first thing I see is that we don't have a featured item section, so I might do that. A featured item section would allow you to put like your top sellers at the top, so maybe like your 4 best t-shirts or whichever 4 that you think are the best design you could put at the top there. So I would go ahead and do that too. And then as I was looking through the shop, one thing that really stood out was the prices. So 31.52, 31.52, 31.52. And I had a couple of thoughts about that. Number one is that's definitely a more expensive shirt. So if this is a better quality shirt, you should definitely mention that. Highlight that so that people know that, they're spending more money, but they're getting a higher quality shirt. Otherwise, most shirts are more in like the $20 to $25 range. So as it is, these shirts are looking a little bit more expensive. Ending with 52 it's an odd way to end. I'm used to people ending in like 99, like 31.99 or something, or 98. 52 is just, you're not utilizing the pricing psychology as well as you could. So I would just go ahead and do 31.99 if I was going to do that. I don't know if you run any sales regularly. Nothing is on sale now, and it may be that you're waiting until Black Friday to run sales. I don't know if they even do. I wouldn't think that they would even do Black Friday sales in the United Kingdom. It depends if you're trying to sell to the US or if you're trying to sell more to the United Kingdom, or both. If you're trying to sell more to the US, then you would want to incorporate a Black Friday sale. And so I don't know if that is a plan that you have or not. And then as I'm looking sort of at your designs, all right, they're not the best mock-ups that they could be. And that might be more of your style of shop. This isn't as, Etsy-ish as what we would typically see. Usually there's a very Etsy style to the mock-ups. I can see that you've made them big, which is good. It's easy to read. It's upright, which is good, right? You did feature the black shirts, which do tend to sell the best, but there's just something about how uniform all of these mock-ups are, almost like they need a variety, or they just don't scream Etsy as much. I might go ahead and invest in some professional mockups to start with, um, and see how that works for you. But I'm just going to go ahead and let's pick your very first design, because I'm guessing that this is your newest. Dinosaur princess t-shirt, fun dino party outfits, right? And so I can see we've got different colors, and it looks like you tried to make your own mock-ups. So you threw in the jeans, you threw in the sunglasses, the shoes. I mean, you labeled the colors on here, and so that's all good. I can't tell what kind of shirt this is because there's no tag, so I'm not sure if it's a Bella Canvas or a Gildan or some other shirt. Again, at this price point, I want it to be clear that this is a more expensive shirt, to justify a more expensive price. As we come down here, I'm just going to take a look at all these real quick. You've got deep teal. Okay, labeled all of these. Team purple. Even with this, I still might try to go ahead and buy your own mock-ups to start with. This looks like a mock-up that you made as opposed to a photo, and here's why. Even though I can see that we threw the shadow on the shirt, the shadow is too big, by the way, so the t-shirt laying flat on the wood would cast a smaller shadow. But then you also don't have shadows on any of your other items. So if you had a light source that was going to cast that big of a shadow on the t-shirt, it would also cast a shadow on these other products. We have the shoe on top of the t-shirt and the pants somewhat on top of the t-shirt there. I might move them so they weren't touching. And the way that the boards are slanted like this diagonally, I might go ahead and turn it so that the boards are more horizontal. If I was going to make my own mock-up. Otherwise, I might just encourage you to start by buying some, and going with that. And then I would just get rid of these folded mock-ups. So these aren't really adding anything, and they're kind of different than all of your other ones. So I might just get rid of the two random folded ones, especially since, I mean, they're not really incorporating anything. They just feel like two different random colors there, so I wouldn't bother with that. I can see you created your own size chart here, and you did stick with the branding. So you stick with the branding that you had, and so that is fine. It's obviously the feel for your shirts, which is nice. A lot of time with the size chart, people will include the brand of shirt that it is here. So again, if it's a Gildan or if it's a Bella Canvas or if it's something else, Comfort Colors, you might consider putting the actual shirt brand here. I'm assuming that you're not manufacturing your own shirts. And then we do have a branding card here, which is good. Again, you've kept the colors, you've kept the branding. If you loved your order, please leave a review. It will be a great deal for us. I might reword that a little bit. I might even just get rid of that entirely and just put, if you loved your order, please leave a review. And then I might put like 5 stars on here to just kind of subconsciously encourage people to give a 5-star review. So, and then I would just get rid of that line entirely. But it's good that you have a branding card. As I scroll down here a little bit more, cotton, polyester. Let's look at the details here. It's a jersey short sleeve tee. Again, it doesn't tell you what brand it is. Lightweight, breathable, heirloom combined with wrong spun cotton. You might consider making a product features card that you put up here. So you might consider putting some of your product features in a card so that when people look, they can see, you know, oh, maybe it's more expensive because it's a better material or a better fit or something. Just to kind of justify the price being a little bit higher than the market price typically. Care instructions, you could also consider creating a care instructions card too. We don't have anything added in here about, you know, you can add stuff about delivery time or about your shop. Some people will do that. So, I mean, you could flush out your description section a little bit. But that's not really the highest concern here when we come to shipping, $15.77. Now, again, this is where I'm not sure about UK prices. So I don't know what the average price to ship from the UK to the United States, for example, would be. I know in the United States, they really want you to keep your shipping at $6 or less, which is why I offer free shipping in the United States. But again, because you're from the UK, I don't really know what the standard there is. But I can tell you that as somebody from the United States who might be looking to order one of your shirts, 1577 plus, $31, you're looking at a very expensive shirt. I don't know that there's that many people in the United States who are going to want to spend $46, $47 on a t-shirt. And so that might be hurting you more than anything. One thing I want to mention as we're looking at different shops, and this is kind of for everybody's knowledge, is typically when somebody goes onto Etsy, I want you to pretend that you're a customer. So you're going onto Etsy and you go onto their main site and you're searching for something. So what are you searching for? Are you searching for an anniversary present? Are you searching for, some home decor? Are you searching for like a teacher appreciation gift? Think about what you're searching for. And then you imagine you type that into the search bar, up come the results. For your product to be seen, it has to, one, be something people are searching for. So that's first and foremost. If nobody's searching for it, they'll never see it. Two, your title tags, SEO has to be good so that it's going to pop up for people to see it to begin with. So without that, nobody's going to see your stuff. And then they're looking through all of the different listings, and all they have really to go on are three things. They're going to see the thumbnail, the main thumbnail, not any of the other ones. They're going to see the price, and they're going to see whether or not you're like a star seller or have a lot of reviews. Now, when you're brand new, you're not a star seller, and you probably don't have a lot of reviews. So then your main mock-up and your price really have to be competitive to get people to even click on the listing, to even look at the descriptions, or to even look at the other cards. So you can have the nicest shop and the nicest other thumbnails and the nicest description section, and it won't really mean anything if nobody gets past that first stage of searching for your product, seeing it, and choosing to click on it. And so with that in mind, you kind of have to prioritize. So your main priority then is going to be your main mock-up image has to be really good, and your price has to be relatively competitive. And then obviously, hopefully the good reviews will come as you start to make more sales. But when you're new, obviously you don't have that. So again, I might consider buying some like really good mock-ups, if not for everything, at least for your main thumbnail image, because that's going to be the thing that people see right away. I would definitely consider running a sale if you don't typically. If you do typically, that's fine. But if you don't typically, I would consider running a sale. I might consider including shipping in the price, or at least including part of shipping in the price to bring the shipping price down, because that is a huge shipping cost. Now, if you do sell to people in the UK and the shipping cost in the UK is very low, then you can kind of disregard this if the US isn't your main market. But if the US is a main market, then that shipping cost is really pretty high. But again, I can't see what the shipping cost would be for like the UK because I'm in the US. So I can't say too much about that. But those are the big things that I'm noticing just right off of the bat, right? So let's say somebody clicks your listing, okay, they're looking at it. If they like what they see, then they might decide to look at your shop and look at more products, right? So for somebody to even get to your shop, they have to go through several steps. So let's say they like that and they decide, okay, yeah, I want to go see this person's shop. And I can look down here. I see they've got one really good review and they've got some other things here. So let's go look at their shop. So then they would come up to your shop, and now is where they would see your banner, and now is where they would see the rest of your shop. So even though it's really important to organize this and to make it all look good and to have all of your announcements and all of your other stuff, it's a moot point if you don't get past that first stage. So the very first thing you want to do is improve your mock-ups, make them a little bit more Etsy feeling mock-ups, make them a little bit more professional looking. So that is the very first thing that I would recommend. I can see that you added an announcement. You're brand new, ready to make you smile. I really like your whole description here. That looks real good. I really like that. You do have one really good rating, and that's great. I did notice that there's a link to a website, and that website doesn't work. So when I click on your link, it says the page you're attempting to access is currently inactive. And so, with that in mind, I would get rid of this, and I would definitely consider adding some social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest or all of the above, onto here too, because that's some way that you can promote your shop. That's going to be how you get people to go straight to your shop from outside sources. Otherwise, they have to go through the Etsy search thing to get to your shop. And again, they have to be searching for it. So if you have, social media, you can kind of market your shop that way a little bit more. Otherwise, I mean, that's fine there. So let's look at some of your sections a little bit. So you have a huge t-shirt section. You do have a couple that you have personalized section. Granddad, Nana. Okay, so you do $37. Whew. That one's really expensive. I wonder why the 37 is more than the 31.52 of the rest of them. Made in picture here. Let's go ahead and pick this $37 one. Add personalization. Please add only the text you want printed on the product. Reach to us directly for additional requests. Okay, that's fine. Nana. I would say something else. If you're going to have a shirt that says Nana and it's a grandmother shirt, you need your mock up, your model to be a grandma, or you need to get rid of this, because having this young person here representing a grandma, it doesn't fit. It's not cohesive there. Again, you have your branding card, you have your size chart. That's good. Again, model does not fit with the branding of a grandmother shirt if you're going to go that way. And then again, $15.77 to ship is going to be way too much. So let's look at some other sections. You've got some sweatshirts. Sweatshirts, $64. Pricey sweatshirts. And how much do the sweatshirts cost to ship? $15.77 again. And I can see again, you tried to make your own mock-ups. And again, with this, I would go ahead, make the wood more horizontal so it's not diagonal. Make the sweatshirt bigger in your mock-up so it takes up more of the space. And things like this. So like you threw a stocking on here. The stocking is not the right size for a stocking. It would be too small if it was a real stocking next to a sweatshirt. So in terms of proportion, if you're going to put a stocking here, you want it to look proportional to the size of the sweatshirt. So I see how we tried to make this a little bit more Christmassy, but I think it still needs a little bit of work. And again, you might just consider purchasing some pictures now. And again, I think you probably don't need these folded mock-ups because they're not really adding anything. So really, I think it's the mock-ups that are not working for you the most, because the mock-ups are really how the customer interacts with your product. And so you really want your product to be shown in the absolute best light. And so to do that, you really want your mock-ups to be as good as possible, because that's what's going to get people to click on them. And I think if you redid your mock-ups, maybe ran a sale or lowered the price to something that's a little bit closer to the standard, and again, I don't know what it is in the UK, that might help you out a lot. And then I see we've got holiday stuff, but it's not all holiday stuff. You've got some mugs here. The mugs look nice. I mean, those are nice looking mugs. I do like those. $17.81. Again, that's kind of a weird price, but I do like the mugs. I think that looks nice. Maybe your main mock-up should be something bigger. Matter of fact, this one here might be better. This one here, I would switch and move this to your main mock-up because it's bigger. You can really see it and it's a lot bolder. So I think this is going to work way better for your mock-up than this one. And so that's how I would do that there. And I like this. Why not pair it with a shirt? So that is cool. You tried to kind of across those. I really do like that. That looks great. And then you do have a detail page here. For early years and primary also available. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but so far so good. I do like it. Again, I think it's just sort of the mock-ups. Okay. So I would say go ahead, change the mock-ups, and then message me back and I'll take a look and see if there's anything else that is worth looking at here. You can try adding some more products, trying some different products, but otherwise, I think that is probably your biggest problem and what is holding you back the most right now. I'm looking at some of your niches too, and I looked through these. I noticed a lot of these were ones that I mentioned on my channel, so I can see that you've definitely tried to keep track of kind of what popular niches are out there. Some of these are a little bit more popular on Amazon maybe than on Etsy. And so that might be a little bit of a problem too, is some of these look a little bit more like Amazon shirts than Etsy shirts. They kind of have different vibes to them, to the two different platforms. But I can definitely see that you're trying really hard to keep up with the different niches here. Oh, so here's some different model ones. Oh, those are a little bit different. Than a bunch of the same ones. Be resilient. So some of those. Oh, here you go. Here's a model. Bats to the bone. Ah, I like that one. Okay, so this one looks pretty cool. I like that model a lot better. That one looks a lot more professional model-ish. And so that actually does look a lot better. See, if you had your other ones a little bit more like this style, I think it would work out a little bit more for you. But you're on a good roll. You're on a good start. I should let you know that when I first started, I actually started on Redbubble, and I put up like 2,000 designs on Redbubble, and some of my designs initially were pretty terrible. And I did that, and then I went to then I went to Amazon Merch, and then I went to Etsy. And even after I opened my Etsy shop, I was focused more on Amazon Merch, so I really didn't do a lot with my Etsy shop for a couple of years. And it did take me several months to even get my first sale, and my mock-ups were horrible, and I didn't have even the most basic size charts. I mean, I did everything wrong to begin with. And it's been like just kind of steady growth ever since. So I can see that we're starting and you're heading in the right direction. And I would say just keep growing, keep moving in that direction, because you will get there, and every day it will get better. And you might have to go through several iterations. I went through so many iterations with my mock-ups where I did kind of exactly what you did. I started with the mock-ups from the print company, and then I tried to make my own, and they weren't so great. And then I tried to improve them a little bit, and they still weren't so great. And then I bought maybe like one professional mock-up to use as my main image, but then my other mock-ups were still and then I started going, buying more of the professional mock-ups. And, it has been kind of that slow road of, consistent improvement. And if you keep improving and every day it gets a little better, you will get there. And I can tell that it's just, you're on that path. And so that is exactly how I started off. And so just keep going, keep improving, and I'd be willing to look at your shop again and again and again if you need more feedback. But that is what I have to say about that, is just go ahead and start with the mock-ups, and then you can move on from there. If you have questions, please drop them in the comment section below. I try to get back to everybody as quickly as I can. If you would like me to take a look at your Etsy shop, you can email me. My email is in the description under every video, and I can get you added to my list. I hope you guys are just doing really well with your designs, with your sales, with your portfolio. If you're brand new to print on demand and you're interested, I do have a beginner's guide that I sell on my Etsy shop for like $20 on sale that goes over everything you need to know as a beginner to get started. And it does include 4 exclusive videos on how to set up an Etsy shop, including integrating print providers and creating your first listings and making your mock-ups and all of that. So that is something you can look into if you are interested. And because you guys were so patient and you did wait until the end of this video, I do have another 5 bonus niches for you. So without any more waiting, these are your 5 bonus niches, and I've gone ahead and gone with some kids' Valentine's Day niches. So niche number 1, I crush hearts, and I've seen this done with like little monster trucks or little dinosaurs, something really cute for little kids. Number 2, I steal hearts, and again, that could be something again with like a little dinosaur or some little animal holding a heart. Number 3, V is for video games. Number 4, chicks dig me, and I've seen that done with like a little excavator. And then number 5, I love you very much, with like a strawberry or something. So just little cute kid designs, and those work great for kids' Valentine's Day shirts. Again, I hope you guys are continuing to expand your portfolio, continuing to learn new skills. And I do hope to see you guys again. That's it for today's video. If you found that useful and would like to see more videos with helpful tips and tricks, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the weekly videos. As always, keep growing and stay creative, and we'll see you next time.